Hi guys, Chris here from Tech Tablets. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. So this is the first 8-inch Cherry Trail model here that I've got. Now it's got the X5 Z8300 Cherry Trail in it, so it's the next generation Atom, and it's got a slight bump in GPU performance. It's probably going to have around the same CPU performance as the earlier model, the Bay Trail Z8300F, which was in the old model of this Onda here. Now this is the W820w CH. Now I don't know why they put CH there, because it should actually be CT for Cherry Trail, but they do what they want. They have a strange naming system there, Onda. So the box here is quite small because it doesn't actually have a power supply in it. We can see a few specs here on the back, so they just outline very briefly. Generation 8 graphics from Intel, and it's got 12 executional cores. That's a bump up from the 4 that's in the Bay Trail there. So graphics, this should be a little bit better. Should be around about 40% better than the earlier Bay Trail model. So we still have the 1280 by 800 resolution there. It's of course 8 inches IPS panel, and we have a 32GB eMMC. When I turn it on, I'll just check out and see how much actual free space we're going to have there. And there's just a few other specs here. So it's got Windows 10 Home, I think that would be saying there in Chinese. I don't actually read Chinese. And just a few other specs on there, which I'll show you. So let's open up the box here and take a look at the tablet. Okay, so it feels relatively light. It's not too bad. I'd estimate this must be about 360 grams or so. Now this doesn't have dual boot on it. There will be some other dual boot tablets, I think, coming out with 8 inches with the new Cherry Trail. We're not too sure that the HI8 Pro from Chewy might later on, but I think at this stage it's just Windows 10 at the moment. But you can see up here, 2 megapixel camera. That looks to be a status LED there. Would probably light up to let you know that the tablet camera is on. It does come pre-applied with a screen protector, you can see here. Now that's very common with these tablets coming out of China, because they don't actually have a scratch resistant glass touch screen on them. It's just a normal soda lime glass they normally use on there, so very susceptible to scratches there. That's why they put the cover on. So on the left hand side here, we've got nothing here apart from this micro SD card slot. Now that should, they claim, support up to 128 gigabytes. Sorry, not 228. I was thinking 256. It might support those, but they only say now for the moment 128. So the back of it here, we have a textured pattern here, like a fingerprint kind of look. We have the Onda logo, of course. A 2 megapixel rear camera, which will probably be extremely poor, just for video chat really was the only use of that. And you can see marked here that 32GB version. And there is a loudspeaker right here that I will test out, and hopefully this has got okay kind of performance. Now the rear of it, there is no ports, nothing there on the rear. So on the right hand side we have a power on, volume up and down buttons, and on the top we have the micro SD card port there and micro HDMI out with a 3.5mm audio jack there. So let's have a look and see what else is in the box. Just a few warranty cards there, whatnot, all in Chinese, completely useless to me. And what do we have? Just a micro USB cable right there. As I mentioned, no power supply, and actually they should have included an OTG adapter there. So a micro USB to USB adapter would have been really nice to see that there, but they didn't include that. Or the seller snatched it out, but I don't think so. It's probably not included there. So I'm just going to turn my scales on here and have a look at the weight of it. Okay, so 338 grams there is the weight of the tablet. And I'll also just measure it and see just how thick it is. So it's around about 10 millimeters there in thickness. Overall, it seems thin enough. It's not super thin, but I think 10 millimeters is okay there. Not too bad at all. It's power on the screen. Hopefully it's got some battery life left in it. Often what happens is when they're in transit, they turn on sometimes. and you find yourself with a completely dead tablet. No, that has got some juice in it. That's good to see. So I'm just going to walk you through now Windows, and we'll have a look at the device manager and free space that's available and a few other things. You can see that it's actually come up with Chinese there. Hopefully the seller has changed that over into English for me. But before I just walk you through Windows, let's have a look at the screen brightness here. Just turn that up. Oh dear, that's already on 100%. That is quite a dull screen, as you can see. That screen is quite disappointing, actually, to be honest. Just first impressions. Look at the view angles there. Okay, so not too good there with the screen. And you can see there that it's not fully laminated, of course, on these cheap kind of tablets here. This is priced at about 88 US. Got this here from banggood.com. If you have a look there, there's quite a substantial gap. I would estimate that gap between the actual digitizer glass and the IPS panel below to be approximately 1.5 millimeters there, so quite a large gap. Maybe that's got something to do with the screen brightness, probably not actually. They just seem to have tweaked it right down, probably for battery life. So I'm going to run a few tests on this, benchmark, gaming, and I really want to see just how the Atom X5 Z8300 performs. Will it throttle? Will it get extremely hot like the Z8500 that I've seen get up to 86 degrees? It'll be interesting to see if this happens with this one. So we'll check that out now. Now just in Windows 10 Home here, I've run a benchmark of the eMMC drive and then the microSD card slot. So this is the microSD card slot here, and you can see that's exceeding the normal cap of about 23 megabytes per second that we see on the Bay Trails. That's definitely supporting the high capacity card. So if you do have a fast Samsung or Evo microSD card that you want to take advantage of those 90 reads and 80 writes that it might have, then you can use that on this tablet here. Now this is a Samsung 64GB Evo that I have in there at the moment, and those speeds are around about the maximum speeds that the microSD card can get, so that is good. Now on the other hand here we have the eMMC, and that's a 4.5.1 spec eMMC, and you can see the read and the write rates there, they're okay, they're nothing special. What is a little bit low there is the 4K random read. Sorry, random write. The random write of 3.4 is quite low there. The read's fine, the read's not too bad, but the write is getting on the lower scale of things that what I've seen from these drives. If I just go into the device manager here, I'll show you the disk drive. You can see it's listed as a generic N card, which I don't know what that stands for. N card could be NAD, flash ROM, N card. Now when I've opened up tablets that do say it's an N card, I had a look, I think it was on one of the Chewies that I had a look at. It turns out that it's a 4C brand of eMMC, and they're normally not the best. Those N cards can be quite slow. The slowest I have seen is 45 read and about 25 write, which is horrible. It becomes quite a bottleneck there. These rates shouldn't be a bottleneck to the system at all. The other thing to point out is we are running Windows 10 Home, of course, but there's something interesting right along here. If you can see, hopefully, the mouse pointer where I'm pointing at the moment, 32-bit operating system. Now that shouldn't be happening now with the Cherry Trails. It's only 32, so they had to go with 32-bit, but it's not good to see that. I don't know why they're doing that. Good thing though is Windows is activated, which it should be, but we have seen in the past some of these tablets out of China that they didn't actually activate it properly, or they used one of those KMS hacktivation cracks. Now just quickly type in KMS Pico. Hopefully that doesn't come up with anything on the local search, which it doesn't. Now I'm still seeing stuff in Chinese. That is because I need to just go into the control panel and change that over to make sure that when the tablet boots, that it's going to be, everything's going to be in Chinese. So the welcome screen, the splash screen, and a few of the other things obviously are still set to Chinese, although English is installed, as you can see. Now I have been monitoring the temperatures here in the background, and you can see it's already gotten itself up to 74 degrees, and I wasn't running anything particularly strenuous there. The only thing that was running was Windows Update, and it was also Windows Defender was doing some virus scans in the background. and it's already up to 74, so not a good sign to start with, but I will be testing that out fully with some gaming benchmarks, gaming as well, Geekbench 3, 3D Mark, all of those will be run with the temperature monitor there in the background just to see if it's going to throttle, and when it throttles and just how hot it's going to get itself up to. So it could end up cooking a couple of sausages and some eggs, fry some eggs on the back of it. We'll have to see just how hot it gets there. So that's a very quick look there, the unboxing and hands-on there in Windows of the Onda v820w CH. Thank you for watching. Hopefully catch you in the playlist with more up and coming videos on this model. Bye for now.